Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
It's me again. Welcome back to Partnership for Profits. I was just on the air 30 minutes ago, but we're back with another great episode. I got another good guest today. We got Ron Latz here, who is you're the founder of law firm Fractionals of Phoenix, LegalFenix. Is that right?
Correct. You got it.
And you're a law firm fractional CMO. Super glad to have you on. It's funny. My guest that I just had on earlier today also is a legal fractional CMO, or has an agency that they have several CMOs. And I think you're doing it a little differently. So it's kind of cool to talk to two different people today, kind of have two different perspectives on this side of the business. So Ron, tell me a little bit about LegalFenix and what you guys do and how you guys work with firms.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No, man.
Seeing fractional CMOs here, especially in the legal marketing space, getting a little time and attention on the airwaves. So
yeah,
I think we're doing some good work trying to help some law firms make sense and get some clarity around their marketing strategy. But this company was a vision that I had about eight and a half years ago. I had started just doing some consulting, right? Helping lawyers that had reached out to me saying, hey, I'm kind of turned upside down here. I don't know what's working, what's not working. Should I renew this product? Should I go with this agency and vendor? So I just had some very candid conversations. I like to tell the firms that I promise I will let them know what they need to hear, not necessarily what it is that they want to hear, but as long as it brings us all in alignment so that all the stakeholders within a marketing ecosystem are talking the same language and aiming towards the same goal. So LegalFenix itself, legal marketing consultancy, front end, is all strategic advisory and consulting to ensure that firms just get the right direction and guidance so that they can make smarter investments. The primary service is fractional CMO, where we do embed our entire team. It's not just myself, but I have individuals that are highly experienced, also have legal experience and channel expertise to guide them through their marketing strategy, holding vendors accountable, and making sure, again, that we are hitting the targets that we set out in the beginning of the year. That's based off the business goals and objectives.
Love it. Are you primarily working in the personal injury space, or are you kind of working all over with regards to legal specialty? Is there a certain niche that you guys are hitting more than others?
Yeah, on the fractional side of the house, we usually have a lot more interest from the personal injury side because there's heavy and aggressive investments. Markets are saturated, highly competitive. Not to say that doesn't happen in family and criminal, but we do have more interest from personal injury firms on that space. When it comes to consulting, we were pretty much working with any type of firm outside of defense or any like big law, am law. We're really focused on the small to medium size segment.
Cool. When did the company start?
We rebranded and officially relaunched on 1/1/2024. So we'll be coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Again, this is just an iteration of the just one man show. And if you would have asked me in 2023 if I was going to be hiring people or building a team, I would have told you that you were crazy. But I love it, and we've grown, and hopefully we'll be making another hire soon.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. Growth is great. Sometimes painful, but it's good to have it. It's good pain. It's good pain to have, right?
That's our reward. It's just more pain.
Yeah.
Different pain, just different pain.
100%. Well, let's talk a little bit about legal marketing. I know you have worked with a lot of firms, and I know you've probably seen a lot of firms that are wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing that doesn't work. What's the number one red flag that tells you that a firm's marketing strategy is broken?
I mean, most times they're coming on what we call our alignment call, so we can have an understanding as to why they even reached out in the first place. And it's that they have either no idea what's working, or worse, what's not working, right? It's a lot of disconnected tactics that have been jumbled together. And in most instances, I don't want to paint a broad brush over the industry, but a lot of times the legal marketing agency really isn't brought in to drive the strategy. They're executionists, right? They're going to go out, build out campaigns, design, develop websites, implement SEO best practices to ensure that they're getting visibility. But there's no one really tying the pieces together to make sure it is a cohesive strategy. So they might be investing in ads, they might be in SEO, they might be doing some LSAs and things like that. But essentially no one is just driving the ship internally and then putting an accountability and structure in place to make sure the agencies are doing, what they promised to do. And that just leads to a lot of confusion, frustration, and as you said, a lot of wasted dollars.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that so many, we work in the legal space too. We work with law firms and PI space in particular. It's not the only one that we work in, but that is the majority of our work that we do as well. And it's so funny to me how many law firm owners have their own firm, whether it's and most of them are small to mid-sized firms. Mm-hmm. They don't have a leadership team in place. They're kind of, the managing partner, the owner of the firm is the leadership team and is trying to wear 47 different hats at any given day. And I don't know. And some of them have had had their firms for a long, long time. And I guess because they've been, they've kept it open, they've been moderately successful. They don't feel like they need to bring in a team. But why do so many of them avoid hiring, someone to handle operations, someone to handle finance, someone to handle marketing? Why are they avoiding that so much, do you think?
I mean, it's I don't know if it's classic visionary or just someone that has owned the business that doesn't want to necessarily delegate or relinquish control of managing something that they've done their entire existence.
Yeah.
They've got the control, they've got the input, they've been approving things. And, especially in the law firm space where you're doing deps, you're on trial, doing consults, running a business, operations, doing the sales and marketing, right? There's just so many things to do. And they want to have the impact there. So letting go of that control, I think, is one of the struggles that they have. And even some of our clients, right? They know that we can interface with the agency, but they'll still might join a meeting, which is fine. I never want to close the lines of communication.
Sure.
We want to alleviate that administrative potential burden from them so they can do what they do best. And then we'll stick to the marketing because we know that's what we do best.
100%. And getting a managing partner to understand that and to be agreeable to that it takes a minute to kind of get them in comfortable, relinquishing something that they've had their hands in for so long. Talk to me a little bit about, Ron, how you, when you guys come into a firm, a lot of times I'm sure you're coming with firms that already have vendors in place that are handling different aspects of their marketing. In a perfect world, if a fractional CMO is coming in, at least from our experience, you want that handoff to be smooth and for there to be a clear handoff to where, okay, agency, now you're dealing with Ron, you're not dealing with me, managing partner, anymore. Sure, I might come into a meeting like you said, but this is your go-to now. How do you guys handle that transition, that handoff for existing vendors? And how do you avoid, second to that, how do you keep the vendors from having that fear? Because there's generally a fear from a vendor like, oh, there's a new fractional CMO, we're done, they're going to fire us. And I don't think that's you don't want that as coming in. I'm sure that's not something that you guys are wanting to do or looking to do. But I'm just kind of curious how you guys handle that. I'm speaking from the vendor side. That's why I asked that question. Sure. Because we've run across that. I'm just kind of curious how you guys handle that handoff.
I mean, the handoff is very simple. It's typically just a Zoom one-on-one introduction. It's coordinated through an email. They just let them know, listen, we don't have the time to give you the attention that you need. So instead of bringing someone on full-time, right, that might not be nearly as experienced as me and the team that I bring to the table, we're going to bring LegalFenix in. Yep. So that you can get the approvals that you need, get the feedback that you need, and ensure that we always have a feedback loop. And whenever the law firm isn't holding up their end of the bargain, right, we can help kind of shake the trees a little bit and get their responses back so that they don't have to deal with maybe the entire vendor pool, which could be up to 5, 6, 7 different vendors, right? It's 100%. A lot to coordinate that. It's a lot to project manage that, and things inevitably will slip through the cracks. So usually the ones that have been struggling with non-responsiveness, delays, project launch delays, right? They're happy. They're glad that someone is actually coming into place because now they know, all right, at least we've got a point of contact that is going to continue to keep those lines of communication open.
Yeah, it can be hard to get an attorney on the phone or on a Zoom. It can be really difficult to get them to commit to the kind of, especially, like what our line of work, we're doing digital marketing, we're doing video production and social media content creation, and getting input from the firms can be on a consistent basis it's difficult because they have a whole lot of other stuff going on that they need to put ahead of making a video for TikTok.
Yes. And I empathize with them, right? Like as a business owner too, I understand there's only so many hours in the day,
Right.
So we've got to provide a service, but then we've also got to run the operations as well as, market ourselves. So to answer the second half of the question, you're 100% correct in that, no, we do not want to develop a reputation in the industry where we come in and we just clear house and bring in everybody else. The way that we avoid, vendors that might have a little bit of a hesitation around a fractional CMO coming into space, and this is at least with the LegalFenix model, and maybe we'll get to this a little bit later as well, but we have a vendor agnostic, a vendor neutral approach to all of this, meaning LegalFenix itself, we're not designing or building websites. We're not going out and doing all of your video. We're not going to post social on your behalf. We're not writing the content or running or building ad campaigns. And that is done by design, because I never want the agency to believe like that we're going to creep on their scope. Listen, we bring in the best in class, the best in breed, sometimes for each particular channel. Other firms prefer more of an agency of record model where it's all underneath one roof. Whatever setup is best for you and your firm, that agency knows that the revenue that they're continually bringing in month over month isn't at risk to go to us. Now, sometimes we're brought into a situation, they immediately want to fire the agency, LegalFenix. And that's where I try to pump the brakes and say, listen, I don't want to start looking for alternatives right now. I need to have a little bit of time. I got to look under the hood. I've got to understand what their mandate was, what goal, what path did you put them on? Because maybe you sent them astray. Maybe this was not aligned with your business goals and objectives. So, after initial 90 days, after we've been able to crawl, walk, and run into a relationship where we get into a steady state, we see where all the pieces are. We know which players are pulling their weight and if they're not. And then we just have very frank discussions about it. We're all professionals. We're all adults. Let's make sure that we're all in alignment, because we all want the same thing. We want the firm to succeed. If the firm succeeds, I know that agency is going to get renewals and expansion. And if all those are working in concert together, then a byproduct of that is LegalFenix looking good to bring those results to the table.
Everybody wins. I was going to ask you about the kind of the agency neutral philosophy that you have. How is that? Do you find that that's kind of a game changer for firms? And if so, how does that change the game for the firms that you guys work with?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that the best way to represent the client is to ensure that their interests are always top of mind, right? Another layer of our vendor neutrality. And again, I'm not knocking anybody that diversifies their revenue in this manner, but as a company, our policy is we don't take kickbacks, commissions, or affiliate fees, right? We are giving out a ton of referrals. I think last year we referred out probably over $1 million of business because we aren't the ones doing some of that back end work, right? We want to bring in partners and allow them to do what they do best as well. So in that instance, right, they might say, hey, Ron, you bring us some business. We're going to give you a little bit of commission. We're going to give you that. Now, what we try to do instead is we either negotiate a discount or a decrease in price, whatever that may be, or a lot of agencies have come to us and have been able to just donate those funds on behalf of the firm. And then I immediately put my marketing hat on. I want to parlay that into some PR backlinking opportunity to not only showcase the goodwill, but maybe give them a little bit of bump in their authority and get a nice quality link to their website.
Love it. That's a great model. Everyone should be working that way, in my opinion. So,
well, listen, initially there were some individuals that had, I'm not going to say ridiculed is the wrong word, but maybe scoffed at the fact that, oh, you're not going to scale as quickly. You're leaving money on the table. But I have found in the discussions that I've had during sales calls and then ongoing relationships with clients that part of the value prop just really resonates. And people reach out to me because they say, listen, I know that you're not going to try to pitch me SEO services or ad services.
Right.
And I like being in that position because then no matter what, I can go and say to someone without hesitation, you really need to be investing, call it 60, 70, 80, right? Georgia. Let's talk about Atlanta, right? Those PI firms, some of them, they're investing big dollars, right?
Yeah.
And if I were to recommend that, the management fee associated with that would really line my pockets. So they're their guard is put down because they know that I'm not going to push that on them. And if
Right.
we do need to do that, and we all agree that that's what we should be doing, we bring in the right partners, we figure out if it works for us, and then we move forward accordingly.
And that's beneficial for you, like you said, in the long run, because you have a happier client. And that's that. I love the abundance mindset. I mean, that's the right mindset, in my opinion. There's so much business out there. There's so many law firms out there. So I think that's a great philosophy to have. We work very much the same way. And that, when I'm talking to somebody, my first question is, if I can't help you, what do you need help with? Because I can find someone who can help you. And I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm just going to connect you with them and say, hey, law firm, you need to talk to Ron. This is the guy that you're looking for. I'll connect you guys and you guys can take it from there. It's as simple as that. And that keeps relationships going. And then inevitably those people might come down the road and they do end up hiring you for something. So love that philosophy very, very much. Can you share with me an example or story of a small or mid-sized firm that you guys have helped kind of turn marketing around without a new agency being involved?
Yeah. One of our flagship clients came to us. They felt like they were kind of plateauing, a little bit of stagnancy within their SEO investment. They had been investing for quite some time. We're not talking like a major metro market, but still, like they were targeting a good portion of the state. And what I had talked about earlier, they thought that maybe it was time for a change. Maybe the relationship had run its course. So I just respectfully and professionally asked for a little bit of time so that we can get access into all the tools and systems and look at GA4 and Search Console and make sure that this would be the right move before we go and uproot almost a decade-long relationship to then go to another agency, because like the cost of offboarding and onboarding is real. It's a lot on the firm. It's a lot even on an agency. So we want to avoid that at all costs. We don't want to come in and launch this massive change management effort.
Right.
So, thankfully, they did have the reporting infrastructure in place that needed a little bit of fine tuning, because a lot of times you'll get an agency report, everything's up and to the right? Everything it's sunshine and rainbows. It's all good. We want to look at the outcomes, right? We want to look at how many wanted opportunities, wanted cases, what some firms are grading their cases based off of projected settlement values, things of that nature. So we peeled it back to see, well, what are the business results that we have been capturing over the course of the previous, 12 to 24 months? It requires a lot of audits and analysis, right? A lot of these firms that we are working with, whether they're on Lead Docket or FileVine, they've got Litify or like all these tools that are tracking, the customer lifecycle journey as well as call tracking. We peeled back the onion and we found that this agency was actually performing up to snuff. And to make a major move, like the incremental difference, like, yes, we can adjust our strategy. We might be able to pivot a little bit or make sure that, nothing is slipping through the cracks here. But after some difficult conversations that were just all tied back to the business results that they were hoping to achieve, we felt that we were still in the best position with that current outfit. And right now we're just trying to fine tune. We've adjusted, we've redefined success. We know exactly what the target is. So every single 90 days, we are realigning on what those goals are. And listen, everybody isn't hitting the goal every single time, right? There's got to be some grace here because yes, algorithm shift, the firm goes through changes. They go through resourcing changes. Maybe someone in intake goes down or they lose an attorney or they're hiring someone. There's always going to be growing pains there. But I think, this was an instance where they initially thought we've got to can this outfit. And at the end of the day, right now, we're staying course. And I think the firm is happy that we've done so.
Love it. That's great, man. I want to know from insider perspective, what currently for law firms marketing wise do you see is working and what is not really working anymore that maybe used to be something that they could rely on? Like, I feel like network television is not really what it was as far as, buying television advertising, buying commercial space, over the air. I don't think it has the bang that it used to have. Not as many people are watching network television anymore. That's just an example in my mind that I feel like is maybe something that firms shouldn't be putting as much money into. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm kind of curious what you think. What do you see as being something that obviously SEO is huge, pay-per-click, all that stuff is super important. Where's your head at as far as what should firms be putting their money in as far as marketing goes, and what should they not be putting their money in right now?
Listen, I think, channels do ebb and flow and they come and go, right? Especially in the PI space. You look at it 15 years ago, and if you didn't have the double truck color ad in the yellow pages, like, you weren't a player, right? Front or back cover. That was what it was really going to take in order to generate the awareness. It was a branding play. And then that complemented your digital.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of posts, and I've shared stuff like this on LinkedIn, where individuals will say SEO is dead, LSAs don't work, LinkedIn is not for lawyers. Listen, I really do think that it all can work. It's just whether or not it's going to work for you, your firm, your goals, your culture, right? Like, there are firms that we work with, their values, it's just not aligned with maybe the at-home or the radio TV billboard type of firm. It's not built within their ethos. That's not what they want to do. There are others that have been completely burned by paid ads, or an agency kind of pulled the wool over their eyes. They were price gouged, and it just didn't work. It doesn't mean that you should never not try it again. I think the importance there is ensuring that your marketing portfolio is diversified. You don't have all of your eggs in one basket, but you also have to balance that with not spreading yourself too thin and then diluting your investment in one particular channel, because then you're just going to be mediocre at best. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of shiny objects out there. You might jump into the TikTok, or maybe a couple of years ago you went to Clubhouse, right? It really all depends on what you are trying to achieve. But I will answer your question directly, because I'm very bullish on LinkedIn as a platform. I still think there's incredible opportunity for many lawyers, whether you get these posts ghostwritten or you have, a little bit of help with internal marketing resources, but building brand, showcasing your expertise, sharing stories, the trials, the tribulations, like, there is an insatiable appetite out there of individuals that do want to learn from those types of business owners. And especially when you've got an opportunity to network with different practice areas. If you're the PI firm and there's the criminal, the defense, the estate planning firms that are out there, you're just getting visibility. You're getting visibility to them, and then you're going to be top of mind, right? Like, the stories that I've heard, not only from my clients, but right, I have a client right now that I know got a referral from a firm in New Jersey because they saw his post, and this guy's based out of Florida, right? But he was just active on the platform. This guy was like, I like this guy's vibe. Like, he seems like a good person. He cares about his clients. He gets good results. I've got a friend that is going through a situation right here that I can't help. Why wouldn't I refer it to this individual?
I love to hear you say that, man. That's what you're talking about is I'm going to pimp myself here for a minute, but pimp our business. But that's our model for podcasting for attorneys, is to use it as a networking tool to reach out to attorneys outside of your specialty. And they're going to refer you business as a result of coming on your podcast. It's a very soft approach, a soft conversation. It's easy. You're giving them a platform, you're giving them promotion, and then it just kind of flows from there. And we got so many attorneys who work across the country now that are doing that and using that model, and it's working for them. Yeah. So yeah, you're preaching you're preaching to the preacher, as we say. That's really our thinking as well. And social media works very much the same way, like you said. We struggle sometimes getting our clients to personal injury lawyers in particular to understand, like, yeah, LinkedIn is a good place for you. Well, that's not where I'm going to find accident victims. Maybe not, but you're going to find other people who know accident victims that them can refer you business. So you got to be everywhere. Honestly, like you said, I kind of agree. I think you do have to make sure you're putting the right eggs in the right basket, but you need to have something in every basket in some way, shape, or form.
It is a network of service professionals, right?
Yeah.
So not financial advisors, right? Like accountants and CPAs. Like, there are technology individuals within the legal tech space. Like, there are so many other circles that you can tap into. I mean, my entire strategy on LinkedIn is not for lead gen. It's to identify opportunities like this, get invited on podcasts, be at conferences, be part of panels, right? Talk to masterminds, right? And that over time, like, I've been doing it for 4 or 5 years. Over time, yes, people do slide into the DMs. Hey, I've been following you for a while. What? Right. It didn't happen month one.
No, it's a long game.
Yeah. It's a long game.
For sure. Absolutely, man. I That's our model. It's nice to hear you say that, because it's just validating for what we're doing. It's nice to hear that, man. And yeah, we're telling our guys to post everything. I think that the thing that a lot of them forget on sticking kind of it with social media and LinkedIn and or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you happen to be, I think a lot of and we tell our clients this, a lot of firms forget about the social part of social media, where they're posting content and they're putting stuff out there, which is great. But there's a social side of it where you have to engage with other people, whether you're responding to comments on your stuff or commenting on what other people that are following you are doing and engaging with them, being social with them. That's a whole nother part of it that I think most people forget about. It can't just be about you. You have to be social and make it about the other people as well. And that's a part of that, building that network and building those relationships out. We have to preach that to our guys all the time. Like you got to spend some time on here, or hire someone to spend some time on there on your behalf if you don't have the time to do it. It's huge. You have to be out there in that way. What is there anything coming up with regards to marketing that you see coming down the pipe that law firms need to be paying attention to, that maybe they need to be implementing, that you see coming?
Well, I think, with all the LLMs and AI generated responses, whether it's through AI Mode, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, right? There has been as a marketing guy, I've always wanted to focus on brand, right? And building that awareness, right? Yep. Marketing 101 is know, like, and trust. So there's been like this resurgence, the conversation back in the market about focusing on brand so that, these large language models can pick up what you're doing. And hopefully that you can get some visibility in the AI generated results, right? So I think that's a little bit of a challenge, because depending upon where your firm is currently at within its maturation process, right, and how much you are investing, like the question then becomes, well, how much are we then investing in brand? That's a question that we don't have enough time to unpack today. But even still, like making sure that whether it's community involvement, if you're sponsoring the local turkey trot or a 5K, you're doing charitable donations, getting actively involved in supporting other small local businesses. Get that stuff out on social, add it onto your website, write blog posts about it. If you've got video, throw it on YouTube, Reels, Shorts. Get that out into the market, because those are the people that, when they are looking for an attorney, if you want to combat the big billboards, the national players, they're not going to be in the trenches nearly as deep as that. Yeah. Right? They're going to come in with heavy, aggressive investments and try to buy all of those clients. And that's one of the ways that you can differentiate it. So twofold, I think, lean into community involvement, which can basically then also keep the flywheel turning with your brand and maybe get you some visibility in these AI models.
Again, you are preaching to the preacher with our podcast model. We tell our attorneys, get some small business owners who open up a new restaurant or open up a new bar in town or open up a new business, have them come on your podcast, give them a platform in their local community. They'll share that stuff out there, and they're marketing for you at that point, because they're going to share, what you've given them with their community. Yeah, it's for personal injury, especially. It's a great way to combat the big boys who are spending millions of dollars on billboards every year. So yeah, love it, man. I love that philosophy. We're very much on the same page with each other as far as how we're thinking about things, and I love that. It's very, like I said, it's very validating for what we do. It's nice to hear somebody else on this side saying, yeah, that's exactly how we say to do it. Ron, thank you so much for popping on today and chatting with me. We do have a lot of law firm owners that watch or listen to the podcast. That's a big part of our audience. So let people out there know how they can find you, how they can find LegalFenix.
Yeah, you can check out LegalFenix.com. I also host a monthly webinar where I'm actually shining the light on other industry specialists that focus within the law firm space. Or you could just go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of them.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you coming on again. Appreciate you guys watching the podcast today. If you're watching the live stream, we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching the recorded version on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, we appreciate you guys doing that as well. We really appreciate people who subscribe to the show and share the show with people and give us thumbs and likes and stars and all that good stuff. All those things really help to get the word out about Partnership for Profit to more people. I am going to be back here with another podcast in just about 30 minutes with another guest. So it's a busy podcast day here at LeDuc Entertainment. But we're having a good time, and I hope we have another good guest like we have with Ron here today. Ron, thank you again, buddy, for coming on and chatting with me. I got some people I want to connect you with, so we'll talk off the air, and we'll continue the conversation there. And those of you watching, I will see you guys back here very, very soon.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.